What's going on? Masculine pose. Okay, so one observation that you can make in this modern day times is that the majority of women have been robbed of the capacity to be a long term woman, whether it be marriage or a long term relationship. A lot of females, a lot of women have been robbed of the capacity for marriage or a long term relationship. And the reason is women need limiters, they need limitations. Without the limitations of maybe religiosity, religion, or barricades of culture and tradition, if they're left to do whatever they desire, they are not known for picking what's ideal. When you allow a child to do whatever they want to do, they're going to do what's best for them. And what's best for the child? Look, if you're a parent, you understand this. You would set a routine for the child to say, hey, you're going to sleep at 7:30, or 8:30. That's the time the child gets to sleep. That's a routine. So no matter what the child feel like doing, they're going to have to go to bed at that time. When you don't have any rules or structure in the home, you're going to find the child wants to stay up late. They'll eat a whole bunch of candy and they'll be up till like midnight. And then they in a frenzy, they're acting crazy because there's no rules. Okay? So now people may not like me saying, giving that reference about women or children in the same statement, but it's true. Back in the day, women behaved in a certain manner because there was consequences to their behavior. If she's following some woman that's giving bad advice, there's going to be consequences to that behavior. And she understood that she didn't want those consequences. She did not want those outcomes. So she went against that. She would shut that off. Now a woman can follow Glorilla, Nicki Minaj, Sukihana, Beyonce, Rihanna. She can follow all these people and practice what they preach and not get the desirable results, the desired results. And then she'll be like, oh, I'm void of accountability, so I'm gonna blame the men. Men these days are not this. Men these days, you see what I'm saying? So when you remove accountability off the table, and there's no personal development, because when you're accountable to yourself, when you see the wrong in the behavior or the crowd that you're following, you're going to do better. But when you see that there's nothing wrong with you, you're not going to be suitable for a long-term relationship or marriage. Plus, the concept of love is sacrifice. When men take on women, they understand that I'm going to pay for this and that and that. Most men do that. The traditional aspect of men is engineered in them. The men that are acting outside that are different. That's why they say nice guys finish last and nice guys be friend zoned and they just there for the last option after she's done running the streets and everything else. Because most men do behave according to the script, the old school script. A lot of men move according to the old school script. Women in their modernity, they tend to move as to feelings based responses. I feel like I'm bored. This marriage doesn't serve me. To marry anybody, you know. Just this idea that this world caters to heart, bends to our whims and wishes. So, because these are the females who are being esteemed, they're looked upon as the bad bees and we, society does not esteem what we would seem what men would term good women. Yes, of course there's those that, or I've got channels that are popping up on the internet, but society does not esteem the good woman. It esteems the ones who's twerking, shaking her butt all over the place. That's the one is pedestalized. And women look at that and say, oh, if she's getting positive results, If simps are throwing money at her, I want to be like that. So now, if women who are very much herd, you know, hive herd mentality follow after those individuals, they're argumentative, combative, non-negotiable. Like, they do not respond to their men's instructions because they feel like society is leading them. Because there's a leader in a woman's mind, and oftentimes it's not her man. It's the voice of the woman that she's following, some Jezebelian female that is leading her way. So if that's the case, none of these females be fit for a long-term relationship. How could that be? Because what happens in any relationship is monotony. Everything becomes predictable and systematic and methodical. If a man's good on his purpose, I always use farming as an example. You can go and plant some seeds today, and 2 days later, get upset that there's no results, and you remove them and plant them somewhere else. You gotta follow the process. And life is process oriented. And females, they're not process oriented. That's why a lot of them go to college with degrees that don't even serve them well. They done the paperwork and everything else of college and debt, but it's not serving them like it's supposed to. And a lot of women will leave marriages because they're bored, because they're busy watching other girls on TikTok pretending to have a good life because they went to Dubai and got crapped on. So now the majority of females are feasting on this information. They love the fact to see their girlies or girly pops show off this luxury lifestyle. Most men can see through it. I'm like, there's nobody who can travel or can be traveling every fortnight to a new country unless your father is Bill Gates or Warren Buffett or Jeff Bezos. You can't be moving around like that because even if you run your own business, you need time to fulfill your orders. You need to be time to be looking after your business. You can't be moving around like that. Somebody must be financing that. But a lot of ladies are duped by the lifestyle and they buy into that, making the majority of females, especially because smartphones are readily available to almost just about anybody. So now a lot of ladies are not fit for a long-term relationship because they got itchy feet. They all got itchy feet. They could find you. You could be in good shape. Your money is good, but she gonna be jumping on TikTok and say, "Oh, I come here and take me over there. I come here and do that for me." And some girls gonna be like, them fake female dating coaches who can't get a man or keep a man. They just basically always on the receiving end of the D. Let me put it like that. Oh, if your man is not doing that, then he's doing the bare minimum. They eat that up. Men can read through that because life judges us in a real way. If I'm 5'2", it judges me as 5'2". A woman who's 5'2" or 4 foot nothing can wear some heels, a little wig, and be a baddie. And she can feel herself to be a baddie. And in her mind, she's gonna believe that she's better than most people. And if she get cracked by a man that's seen to be a 10, then she feels like that's her level. So the delusionment in the female camp is always going to be there. But the bad part is that delusionment in the female camp is what's normalized now. It's what's idolized now. And female try to emulate that lifestyle. It's only after they've been ran through, used, and abused, choked out, smacked out, bent over in random places, then they start to see that they're aging out of the game. There's a new fresh batch of females ready and willing to do those things. That's when they're like, oh, I need a man, I need a husband. It's about time I settle down. Where this man at? When the man was always there the whole time, doing predictable, natural, expected stuff, being productive. So for a man to seek out a woman that's going to be on his program, the woman's got to be on your program. This is not about having a household where she's got her own mission going over there and you got your own mission. That doesn't work. It doesn't work. I'm not saying a woman cannot have her own personality. She can't have her own little side hustle, but she needs to be on your program as a man. And that hurts a lot of women to think that. They only will subscribe to that when they're aging out of the game. Or even the idea, oh, I'm happy to be a second wife or third wife after the tires are falling off. The shock absorbers are gone. thing don't start. You can't. It's not cranking over. That's when, not prior to that. No, those times are for maximizing. So the sad part is the majority of females gravitate the way bees gravitate towards flowers and pollen. They gravitate towards the negativity of society, and it's like this mother goddess of feminism and toxic. It's giving all these bad lessons, and females gravitate towards it. And it's funny because men would say men can see for what it is, but it's only after the fact they see that all the guys just using them. They're doing the walk of shame. Like, you know what? I better settle down, or they're not getting the results that they want. That's when they start to like, oh, you know what? I better change my ways. But their back's been blown so many times. They can't pair bond. The guy that really was really liking them for real, he's now moved on. Unfortunately, there's simps out there who's still going to take some women on. I wish they didn't, because you got to have consequences to your behavior. Just like as a man, if you wasted your youth, you're on the street, street corner hustling, and you didn't develop any talent, and now you're in trouble now. You pay for what your behavior. So unfortunately, there's always a safety net somehow. But now, I just think that a lot of females are not fit for marriage, because even if like they get into a good relationship, they find it to be boring, itchy feet. I said enough. Peace, love, and blessings.